Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Friday, the 17th of July. All right, coming out of that North American session, the US equities, pretty much flat. They're up, I think, 0.8 yesterday, down 0.5 today. It's no major movement. And this is because I think we're right in the middle of trying to work out whether there's going to be an increase in lockdowns globally. There's just no real strong sense of where that next step's coming from. And since a lot of the macroeconomic data is sort of being pushed aside, we don't have that clear momentum, and the market is waiting for it. And that's exactly what we've got. So just looking at the sort of the end pairs here, just not doing a hell of a lot. Asian equities pretty much just following that move in the North American session. Expect the European ones to do the same. Now, if I just give you a look at the sort of dollar index, it's a good indication of, what's just going around and what's happening with the dollar. Now, as you can see, it's in a bit of a short-term downtrend. It has been trading sideways the last few days. We still have resistance here around 96, sort of 45 on the index itself. Now, so when you come to the news, so look at that, right? So to me, it's still trading a bit sideways right at the moment, but overall sort of still going down. And if you look at the general news that sort of gets posted on this, it says dollar holds gain on safe haven bid as economic risks grow, right? That's just a headline, right? As you can see with the dollar index itself, it's not really going up, or it's not going up. It's actually in a sort of short-term downtrend. But yeah, the last immediate move was up. I mean, posting an update telling you that the dollar's rallying is not exactly helpful. Then you got, usual COVID stories here relating to most currencies. Everyone's sort of waiting to see what happens with that. Now, on the major currency pairs, I still think the US dollar, can still take a bit of a hit here. We might see these currencies higher, but what we are seeing, a lot of these currencies on the daily charts is actually this longer term move stalling, right? And that's exactly what you see on the hourly charts here. You can see most of these currencies have got are just trading sideways, some in big ranges like sterling, about 120 point range, and other ones very tight ranges. Now, dollar yen has just popped above here, this very short-term resistance line. You know what? The previous high sort of a couple of days ago was 107.40. This thing isn't really going anywhere. And dollar CAD, well, it's just flushing the market out, moving around. You got the Canadian fundamentals, you've got US fundamentals, you got oil, then you got the coronavirus. You've got too many factors here trying to work out what the hell dollar CAD is doing. So to me, everything's drifting sideways as the market still waits to see what happens. I still think there's a chance. I mean, I still favor the US dollar weakening, and I like to see these things higher. It is at this point, we need something big or a negative dollar impact, because we are, as it starts to stall, and the Kiwis are a very good example of this, we end up getting all these secondary third and fourth sort of resistance lines. There ends up being more resistance to the top side. But if we do get it to break through those levels, it should go for a bit of a run. So that's where we are. It's a bit of a tricky one. If I just come back to get you onto the Forex Daily Market Insight page, it's pretty bare. When you come down and do your analysis, right, short-term, long-term, to me, euro, it's just hanging on to this long-term. I mean, it is going up, but even though it's tracking sideways, I still think there's a chance for this thing to get up towards 114.90. We saw support around 113.75 today. That's the sort of the only real pair that I sort of have a strong feeling for at this point. Now, that was just sort of updated yesterday. I mean, this still stands. This trade is still in play, and we'll see how that plays out. Now, just coming down to what are we looking at? Well, you got the prelim University of Michigan consumer sentiment numbers. Okay, this is by no means anything like the Fed or the non-farm payrolls. Unfortunately, what we're doing is we're still sort of just waiting for updates on all this random COVID stuff. So just take some of this news with a grain of salt. That's what I was trying to get to here is, the news services are struggling for a story. The drag on of the coronavirus is, where there's a bit of a surge here and there. That's actually just becoming like it's the boy who cried wolf, right? So they keep saying, coronavirus cases shatter records. That isn't getting anyone's attention anymore, right? So with that, they will start changing the news, start looking for new things. I'd say China will probably come up next week, or some other weird stuff. But that's all we've got to work with at this point. What we're looking for is we're looking for the dollar, right? If the dollar, the US dollar, let me just change screens again. If the US dollar can give us clear direction, right, then it's game time. At the moment, it's trading sideways, and the other currencies aren't really giving us much either. So we've got a resistance line here. Now, it's either a good chance to be getting either short the dollar index or getting long those other pairs. It's at a crossroads coming into Friday's trading. What you'll find, I usually see is you may see a little sharp move to the top side, downside, take out the weak stops either side of the market, and it's back to where it is. It is completely lacking momentum at this point, and that's my concern as we sort of go into Friday's trading. It's got to be something weird and wonderful to get these things moving clearly in one direction. If we get it, there's an opportunity. If we don't, then I think we're just going to stay range bound. May see a couple of false breaks either side of some of these close pairs with close support and resistance. All right, guys, that's it from me. Have a good trade day. Cheerio.